Hey guys, how's it going? This is just going to be a quick guide on how to use A-10. It's going to be how to fly, how to take off, how to land, along with a few tips and tricks that I found. I just want to start off by saying if this may be changed pretty soon in the future, just based on player feedback. So if something becomes really outdated or like they change something major, I'll do another video on it. Along with that, some people that have used the A-10 before the new update, you'll know that before there was a rudder using Q and E to make slight adjustments. That isn't in the game right now, so just know that they may add it, but as of now they don't have it in the game. So starting off, you can just close your canopy with H, that'll close. There's different ways to start out. The way I do it is I just go ahead and flip all these switches, turn everything on, except for this, the inverter, and this right here, the CICU. Don't turn any of those on. You also don't need the fuel test or the lamp test. You don't need either of those. You can turn them on if you want. So then after that, you can go over here, turn on the CICU, and then hit the inverter. That'll turn on these screens right here. You'll have your map right here. Basically, how this works right here is if your plane is level, like with the horizon, then this will be straight. If you're inverted, if you're upside down, the blue will be on the bottom and the orange will be on the top. This is just helpful for if you're like above the clouds, you can't see the ground, you can't really tell what your orientation is. If you're turning right, the blue is going to come down this way and the orange is going to come up to the left. And then if you're turning left, the blue is going to come down to the left and the orange is going to come up to the right. And there's also a method for strafing, like doing a gun run that I'll show you too using this. So the first step is going to be hit L. That's going to turn on your right engine. It's going to start up. You're going to see this meter right here, this meter, and this one and this one turn on. This is going to be the last one to reach the like maximum point. So once that gets to this little mark right here, you can go ahead and turn on your left engine, or you can start with whichever one you want. It doesn't really matter. I just started with my right. So from there, you can see that it stopped right there. You can go ahead and start your left engine now. It's going to turn this on, and then it's basically going to be the same thing, except this time you're going to watch right here. You'll hear my engine starting to turn on. The one thing about this is this map right here is not going to be 100% accurate because obviously there's no indicator of where you are on this map. There's no icon where you are. So this is just gonna be a general reference of where you are right now. And if you don't know the map that well, this can also serve as a reference for you for where you are, but it's not the most exact. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your throttle, you're gonna hold space, you're just gonna tap it for taxiing. You're just gonna tap it forward twice, and then you'll start to move forward. So to move left and right, it's obviously A and D. Turn right, you use D. So I'm just going to do that. You don't want to go too fast here. If you go too fast, you'll lose control of the plane, which you don't want. The majority of tasks, you're going to be using your WAS and D. So what S is going to do is it's going to pitch your nose up. So it's inverted controls. So your S is going to pitch your nose up, your W is going to pitch your nose down, and then your A and D is going to turn left and right respectively. So since you don't have a rudder in the game with Q and E, if you want to turn left or right, you have to turn the entire plane, which is your yaw. So you're gonna have to. You'll see once we're up in the air. It's not that easy to pilot when you're just starting with this new system. So before you like try and do any landings or anything, I just suggest getting used to that. So to stop on the runway, you can hold left shift. That's gonna bring your throttle all the way down, and then you can see at the bottom all the main controls that you need. So the first thing you're going to do when you're about to take off is you want to just tap space a few times so that you can line up with the center of the runway. If you want to, it doesn't really matter. And then from here, you're just going to hold space, and then once you're at either the end of the runway or you're at 200 airspeed, whichever one happens first, you're going to hold S, and it's going to bring your plane up into the air. So I'll do that now. Just going to hold space. Your A-10's gun is going to be right mouse button it's going to be aiming with this little circle right here. This circle is going to be where your gun is aiming right now, if that makes sense. So see, I just hit 200. I can take off now. One important tactic that you need to use right now, the fog in this game is really bad. So if you use your night vision goggles, you can actually get rid of the fog entirely. So I'll show you. If I turn left right here, you can see all the way to that mountain. If I take the night vision off, you can barely see it. So that's a key mechanic that you need to know if you want to fly in this game. If you want to do a sharp left turn or right turn, you're going to want to turn the entire plane, and then you're going to want to hold S, and that's just going to make you turn in whatever direction. You can also go downwards, but I don't recommend doing that because obviously going to have more visibility holding S and going this way versus holding W and going this way, because you can't see below you. Some main things to be aware of is I'm not sure of the exact stall speed. I've gotten to 150 and I haven't stalled, so for landing, you can get to somewhere. I usually go to around 170, which is pretty ideal for landing. But it depends on your needs and preferences. So this right here, this is important when it comes to gun running. So as you can see, when I'm level with the ground, these lines are level with the brown and the blue. So if I turn left, you can see that the blue goes to the right and the brown goes to the left, and vice versa. If I turn right, same thing. And so one of the tactics I use for gun running is, let's say we're going to hit the peak of this mountain right here. So first what you're going to want to do is get lined up with this mountain. Say we're going to shoot right there. So I get lined up with this mountain. What I do is I go all the way over here. I'm in line, so if you can imagine a line running through your cockpit all the way, through the point that you're going to gun run or strafe, whatever you want to call it, you're just going to follow that line. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold S. I'm going to let myself invert. So I'm upside down right now. If you look right here, you can tell that I'm upside down because the blue is on the bottom. So you can just hold your A or D, whatever you want, and it'll flip you over. So now, I can turn on my night vision, and you can see that I'm in line with this mountain, and I can just come right here, and I can do a gun run on it real quick. That's a good tactic to use when you're just starting to learn how to gun run. And then obviously you have the more advanced strategy of, turning quickly and getting yourself lined up. So like right here, if I want to get lined up with desert, I can just do something like this. And it really depends on personal preference how you want to do it. The first method I showed you is going to be how most beginners are going to want to do it, just to get used to the flying. So now the hardest part is going to be landing. Landing is a very challenging thing for a lot of people, at least a lot of beginners. Once you've done it a few times, it's not that hard to get used to. You're going to use the same strategy as gun running. You're going to want to come and you're going to want to get lined up with the runway. So you're just going to want to be lined up like this, at least for beginners. Obviously, there's more advanced ways. So you're just going to want to come get lined up with the runway like this. Just want to fly over real quick. That makes sense. So now we're lined up with the runway. So now what we can do is we can just go out a little bit, start decreasing your throttle with a left shift. Once you've flown over the runway, you're going to want to bring your throttle down so that your airspeed comes down to about 170. Okay, so right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hold S until I'm inverted. Look right here. Once I'm level, I'm going to hold D or A, flip back over. Now I'm going to want to bring my altitude down to, well, about 0. I'm going to come down to about 100 while I'm still lined up. Just going to stop at 500. Okay, so I'm at 500. Gonna go down a little more, maybe. I'm gonna just try my best to line myself up with the runway prior to landing. Okay, so I'm pretty good right here. So now that you're at 170, you're just gonna, once you touch down, you're just gonna want to hold hold left shift, hold it down. So right above it, I'm just holding down left shift, and I touch down, and now I brake, and that it's easy as that. So once you're at 170, basically what I did was I just held left shift down, just hold it till your throttle comes all the way back, and then you touch down, and then you should be all good. It should automatically brake for you. So that's the end of this guide. Thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something valuable. Fuck.